Sarvapakaya Chaturmasya Sarvadharmasvarupine Avatarvarishthaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namah. So, we will start by some introductory verses which are taken from the most popular, or you can say famous commentary on the scripture we are going to discuss, Srimad Bhagavatam. So I will chant the verses because you may not be familiar with them. Vagisha yasya vadane lakshmir yasya cha vakshasi yasyaste hridaye samvitam nrisingham aham bhaje. I worship Lord Nrisingha, in whose mouth dwells Vagisha. Vagisha means Saraswati, upon whose chest abides Lakshmi, and in whose heart shines consciousness itself. Vishwa Sarga Visargadin Di Nava Lakshana Lakshitam Shri Krishnakhyam Param Dhama Jagad Dhama Namamatam. So Nava Lakshanam, which is characterized by these topics, Vishwa Sarga Visargadi, beginning with Sarga Visarga. All these we will see later. Shri Krishnakhyam Param Dhama Jagad Dhama Namamatam. I bow down to that supreme abode known as Shri Krishna, the radiant abode of the universe and its ultimate reality. Madhavo Madhava Vishau Sarva Siddhi Vidhainau Vande Parasparatmanau Paraspara Nutipriyau. I bow down to Madhava, that is Krishna, Madhavisha, Lakshmi, the Lord, and his consort, divine consort, who are the source of all perfection and fulfillment, who are mutually the self of each other, and who delight in praising one another. So here also see, just last week we had discussed how it is said that the Supreme Reality and His Shakti are inseparable. Same thing is said here also. This is supposed to be a Vaishnava scripture. Same thought permeates all our sects more or less. Then there is another verse, I will just read the translation, in praise of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavata, known by that exalted name, is a wish-fulfilling tree, which is called Kalpataru. It's 12 branches, so it has skandhas. Skandhas have then adhyayas. Adhyayas have shlokas. Like that division is there. So 12 skandhas are there, so they are called the 12 branches. Shine forth, its tender sprouts are devotion newly blossoming it. It has 18,000 beautiful leaves. This means Bhagavata has 18,000 verses, 18,000 shlokas. And 3,200 branches spreading with splendor. Upon its topmost height rests the supremely accessible fruit, the Lord Himself, God Himself, who is attainable to all. One and all can attain God, the Supreme Reality, if only they want. So, most of you know that our scriptures are divided into two categories, Shruti and Smriti. Shruti means Vedas, and Smriti is everything else, more or less. So this falls under Smriti because it is a Purana. So it is one of Hinduism's most popular Puranas. There are supposed to be 18 major Puranas. All these we will discuss. What is Purana? Everything we will discuss. And this is the central text in Vaishnavism. And it is traditionally called Mahapurana to show how important it is, the great Purana. And it is revered as containing the essence of Vedānta. In one of the verses in the Bhagavata itself, it is said, Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. It is the ripened fruit of the wish-fulfilling tree of the Vedas. So if the Vedas is a tree, then it is the ripened fruit, ready to be taken. You don't have to wait. So we will see all this in detail. So first, of course, we have to know what do the terms mean. We are studying the introduction to the Bhagavata Purana, also called Srimad Bhagavatam. So we first have to know what does Bhagavata mean and what does Purana mean. So Bhagavata, the term is derived from Bhagavan, that is God Himself. And what is the meaning of Bhagavan? One who is possessed of Bhaga, where Bhaga is sixfold excellence. What are those six things? Aishwarya, that is supreme lordship; Virya, divine valor; Yasha, fame rooted in virtue; then Shri, embodiment of beauty, prosperity and benevolence; Jnana, spiritual knowledge; and lastly Vairagya, that is renunciation born of higher understanding. So in one whom all these six exist in their infinite splendor. In a person it may exist maybe one drop, maybe two drops. But in Bhagavan there is no limit. And then from Bhagavan is derived the term Bhagavata. Bhagavata, as we know, Sanskrit terms, sometimes the same word can have various meanings, various shades of meanings. So Bhagavata may mean that which pertains to Bhagavan, pertaining Bhagavan, anything about Bhagavan, both in content and purpose. Or it can also mean that which is spoken by Bhagavan. Or it also can mean a worshipper of Bhagavan. So all these meanings are possible. Worshipper of Bhagavan means a bhakta, a devotee. So Bhagavata can be pertaining to Bhagavan, or which is spoken by Bhagavan, or a devotee of Bhagavan, devotee of God. And Purana literally means that which pertains to ancient times. Purana, like in Hindi we say Purana, same, Purana. So all these coming from Sanskrit words. Or ancient teaching. And in Sanskrit it is sometimes elaborated as Pura Nava Bhavati Iti Purana. It is ancient, but remains Nava, remains new. Because those teachings will always be new. It will always pertain to humankind. Even millions years ago it was there, same. Today also same, it will pertain in the same way, and till the end of the cycle it will be the same. So because these are eternal things, eternal realities, which are discussed here. Another way it is said is Puratanam Dharma Jnanadikam Grantha Rupam Puranam. A text embodying ancient scriptural and moral knowledge, spiritual and moral knowledge, we can say. So, a Purana is not merely an old story. People think Puranas just have stories. No. It is timeless wisdom expressed through narratives, dialogues, and stories. This we have to remember. And what is the purpose of the Puranas? There is all the scriptures which are admitted as authoritative. Other than the Vedas, all other scriptures, all other Smriti, which are admitted as authoritative, they have only one purpose. Vedartham sarva shastrani, Vedartham brahmano vidhu, Vedarthavit puranartham, Vedarthoyam nirupyate. So Veda Artha Ayam nirupyate. All the scriptures other than the Vedas, they have only one purpose. They are meant to elaborate, to explain the meaning of the Vedas. That is the thing. And the Puranas, they contain nothing but the Vedic wisdom in language that ordinary people like us can understand. So they are just exposition of the Vedas, bringing the abstract truths of the Vedas and Upanishads into vivid stories, which is accessible to people like us, which is understandable by people like us. And what is the subject matter of the Puranas? So Puranas themselves mention their subject matter. And there is one Purana, you may have heard the name Matsya Purana. Matsya means fish. So that pertains to the great deluge. Like in Christianity, in Hinduism, there is also mention of a great deluge, when the whole world was immersed. So then everything was put in a ship, like same, it is the same. And God came in the shape of a great fish to take everything to safety. So that is all that is described in that Purana. Of course, that is just a covering for the spiritual teachings, these stories. So Matsya Purana says that 5 topics are covered in Puranas. Minimum those 5 topics have to be discussed there. So without going into too much detail, without going into Sanskrit of this, we will first just see what are the core features of the Purana. Mythology and legends, stories of gods, goddesses, sages, demons, cosmic events. Then cosmology and creation cycles. Description of the universe's origin, structure, cycles of creation, dissolution. Then the lineage of divine kings, sages and heroes. This person was belonging to this clan, his father was this, all these things. So they link spiritual history with earthly dynasties. Then of course the most important, philosophy and devotion, teachings on jnana, karma, yoga, bhakti, often centered around a particular god. Shiva Purana, Shiv will be the central figure, Shakti in Devi Purana, all these things. Then they also contains details about pilgrimage and rituals, what to do when you go to a particular place, festivals, all these things are there. And of course ethical and social guidance, parables, and examples to instill good values in us, truthfulness, compassion, detachment, all these things. So according to the Matsya Purana, each Purana has to have these 5 characteristics. So So these 5 characteristics have more or less been covered in what we have just said right now. So now Bhagavata is special because Bhagavata is a Mahapurana. Sujit, you can come here. Or Rashmita ji also, you can sit there. So Bhagavatam is a Mahapurana, means great Purana. So Bhagavatam says that it has 10 characteristics. Ordinary Purana may have 5, but it has 10. Bhagavata itself says what are those 10 characteristics. What are those? I'll first tell the original verse. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanam utayah manmantare shanu katha nirodho muktirashraya. So what are these? Breaking up the sandhi. Sarga, visarga, sthanam, poshanam, utaya, manvantara, ishanu katha, nirodho, mukti and ashraya. So what do these terms mean? Creation of the universe, secondary creation, its maintenance, its nourishment, the creative impulse, the cycle of the manus, sacred tales, dissolution, liberation, and the supreme reality. So just to elaborate a little, so by the divine impulse of God, when the 3 gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, are disturbed, they are set in motion, subtle and gross elements, all these combine. We have studied all these when we studied Sankhya. That was long ago. So then process begins, the creation of the universe begins. This process is called Sarga. And that the creation that proceeds through Brahma creates the universe, no? Who himself arises from God. Brahma himself comes from God, Virat Purusha, in which he fashions the various mobile and immobile beings, all these universe. That is called Visarga, that is called the secondary creation. Now when the created universe has been created, but like you suppose you build a house, then you cannot just leave it, you have to maintain it, is it not? So when the created universe, which is naturally going towards dissolution, is held within a certain order by God, Bhagavan Vishnu, that sustaining power of his is called sthana, maintenance. And within that protected creation, the divine favor he bestows upon his devotees is called Poshana. Poshana is also there in other languages. Nourishment. And the desires of living beings which bind them to the samsara through karma are called uti, creative tendencies, or you can say those are the source of bondage. And then comes Manvantara, the holy periods ruled by the Manus. Each cycle is, we have discussed all that. So that is Manvantara, and the narratives that describe the various avatars of God. That is called Isha Katha. Isha means God, one who rules, ruler. When the Lord accepts what is called the Yoga Nidra, the cosmic rest, and all beings together with their upadhis and all are absorbed into him, seed form, that is called Nirodha. Creation goes back, never finishes. It goes back into the seed form, then comes again. And then comes to our left Mukti and Ashraya. So Mukti we all know a little. What is that? Renouncing the false identification with this mind and body. When a person realizes his true nature, that is Mukti. And last of all, Ashraya, that is the refuge of everybody. So we all know what can it be. that reality from which everything happens, creation, dissolution, maintenance, that supreme Brahman, the ultimate substratum, Paramatma, Bhagwan, whatever you say, that is called the Ashraya. Without him, nothing can take place. That is the only reality. Upon that reality, all this play is going on. That is the thing. So, all these things have been discussed in the Bhagavatam. All these various, what is called the characteristics, you can say, of this Purana. And after that, it is also mentioned in the Bhagavatam itself, the individual jiva, we are all jivas, individual conscious beings, who is the perceiver and identifies himself with the organs, all these organs. We think I am seeing, I am hearing, I am touching, I am tasting. Is also present in the presiding deities of these senses, like the sun. So, in our scriptures it is said that all these sense organs, they have one presiding deity who controls. So, the individual jiva, who is the perceiver of everything, he is one actually with the presiding deities. And the visible body, what we see, hand, feet, etc., is what distinguishes the individual soul which is in the body from the deities. It is just a limiting upadhi, it is a limiting adjunct. Like a jar is placed in water, so water in the jar and the water outside, they are differentiated by the jar, but actually both the water are same, like that. So if even one of these, the perceiver, the instrument or the object, is absent, the other two cannot be experienced. If I don't have any eye, other two things may be there, but I cannot see. If there is no object, then what to see? So all these three must be present for cognition to take place. So the ultimate reality, which knows all the three, which underlines them all, is none other than the ultimate ashraya. To explain, they have said. So that is the thing. We will not go into detail. So this is a Vedantic principle which has been mentioned in this Purana. And now, what are the original manuscripts? The original manuscripts which are preserved. And from there, all this printing takes place, then thousands of copies are there. So, we will see the images of the original manuscripts of the Bhagavata. The oldest surviving manuscripts dates to 1124-25. And it is there preserved in the Sampurnananda Sanskrit Vishwavidyalaya in Varanasi. So we will see those. So here you can see, let me share online also. So those who are there can see, online also you can see. This is how they are, some of them are like this. Not paper, then there must be some bark, it looks like some sort of bark. Wow. And see the diagrams. Yeah. And the writing is so beautiful. Just a whole thing is a work of art. I mean, that was the ancient tradition. When you do anything, there should be beauty. Not coming and throwing this here, throwing that here. Not like that. So these are some manuscripts. And now about the authorship. So we all know that nearly all these scriptures have been ascribed to only one person. Who? Vedavyasa. The compiler of the Vedas, Vedavyasa. Who wrote the Mahabharata? Vedavyasa. Who wrote the Bhagavata? Vedavyasa. And next, the commentaries. So, in all Indian literature, the Bhagavata Purana is one of the most commented texts. There is a saying in Sanskrit, Vidya Bhagavat Avadhi. Means Bhagavata is the limit of one's learning. If one knows Bhagavata, that's it. Yeah. So, throughout the centuries, it has attracted many commentators from all schools of Krishna worshippers. Over 80 medieval era's commentaries in Sanskrit alone are known. And many more commentaries exist in various Indian languages. But the most important among them may be said to be the Bhavartha Deepika of Sridhar Swami. That is the most important commentary. That is 15th century. According to scholars, this commentary has exerted extraordinary influence on later Bhagavata commentaries. And also on Vaishnava tradition in general. I mean, this is very, very important. And the Bhagavata has been rendered into nearly all Indian languages and many non-Indian languages also. In Bengali, in Bangla alone, there are 40 translations of the Bhagavata. 40. Because after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent, Vaishnavism also grew very rapidly. Previously, Bengal was Shakta only. Shakti worshippers were there. But then, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Gaudiya Vaishnavism, it came and made these scriptures and the worship of Krishna very, very popular. So, now, when was the Bhagavata composed? So, of course, this is just to make us understand. It is there in the Bhagavata itself. So, what happened once? It is said, Vyasadeva, after dividing the Vedas, after writing the Mahabharata, etc., he had done everything. But still, once he was sorrowful. Sorrowful, he sat on the banks of Saraswati. He had written the Brahma Sutras, Mahabharata, all the Puranas, etc. Still, he felt unsatisfied. He could not understand why. So, along that way came Narada Muni, the eternal wanderer, sage of divine music. And Vyasa could not understand. So, Narada Muni told him the reason for his sorrow, Vyasa's sorrow. Because those great sages know everything. So, he said, Vyasa, you have told humanity about dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But you have not described the pure love of God, which is called prema bhakti. So compose the Purana by which the hearts of human beings will melt in divine love and therefore be purified. So under the instructions of Narada Muni, Vyasa is supposed to have composed the Bhagavata, focusing on bhakti and the direct realization of the Supreme Reality. And of course, the focus here is on Shri Krishna. And the text presented who narrates the Bhagavata. Wow. Who is narrating the Bhagavata? Shukdev. To Parikshit. Parikshit had only 7 days to live, not this Parikshit. He has 70 years to live most probably. But Parikshit of the Mahabharata, because of a curse, he was told that the serpent would bite him. So he had only 7 days to live. And after hearing the Bhagavata from Shukdeva, it is said he attained liberation. So, first Shukdeva told. After that, later Shaunaka told the same thing to the sages at the forest. What is the forest? Naimisharanya. So, then later it was again retold by Suta. He retells what Shuka told to Parikshit. So, sages at Naimisharanya, led by Shaunaka, heard this from Suta, who is retelling what Shuka told Parikshit. So, like that, it has been handed over. And what is the philosophical vision? What is called in Sanskrit Tattva Drishti. So, Shishir Kumar Das is a scholar. He says in the history of Indian literature, what makes the Bhagavata unique in the history of Indian religion is, of course, prioritization of bhakti. The main objective of this text is to promote devotion to Supreme Lord, Supreme Godhead in his incarnation as Krishna. But it is not that Bhagavata has nothing but devotion. The speciality of the Bhagavata is its harmonization, not only of different philosophies, but also different paths of sadhana. That is called samanvaya. That is the absolute genius of whoever wrote this wonderful scripture. Because of this samanvaya, saints of so many texts revere the Bhagavata and they have also commented upon that. Precisely because it brings every stream of Indian spirituality into this one great ocean. Jnana, Bhakti, Karma, Yoga, divine play of God, all find their fulfillment here. Other texts may sometimes emphasize one path, but the Bhagavata integrates them. So many verses can be cited in support of this statement. Just one or two we can see. Bhagavata itself says, Vadanti tattva vidah tattvam yat jnanam advayam brahma iti paramatma iti bhagavan iti shabdyate. So those who know of the truth are speaking of what? Jnanam advayam. Tattvavid, those who know the truth, speak of that one truth. Advayam. It is not two, it is one. And they speak of it diversely, like Brahma iti, like it is Brahma. Paramatma iti, or it is Paramatma. Or Bhagavan iti, or it is Bhagavan. So this verse is the philosophical foundation for the Bhagavata's harmony. So the Advaitins, Brahman, pure consciousness, the yogis, Paramatma, and the devotees, Bhagavan, all these are one. Bhagavata itself says. So everything has been combined. Means these are not different. But the three modes of realization, of realizing that Advaya Tattva, same reality. So it does not reject anything. It does not reject Advaita, it does not reject yoga, and of course bhakti is its very essence. And Sridhar Swami himself says, Brahma Parabrahmat Manah Tattvasya Advayasya Abhinnatvat. Because the reality called Brahman, Paramatman and Bhagavan is not different. On commenting on this verse, he must have said. Then there is harmonization of sadhana. But there is no denying that, of course, it stresses on bhakti. Bhakti is the crown of all yogas, it says. But Bhagavata accepts everything. Karma, jnana. Actually, it is said to be the jnana which is soaked in bhakti. Or bhakti soaked in jnana, whatever you say. Like that sweet when we make, we put it into sugar syrup, no? So like that, you can say it is jnana soaked in bhakti or whatever. It is, the thing is, everything is there. And the Bhagavata also says, that is the supreme dharma for all beings, which awakens causeless and uninterrupted devotion to God. That is the main stress, that cannot be denied. So, bhakti is here called Parama Dharma. It is not a separate path, but the culmination of all paths. That is the speciality. An integration of jnana and bhakti. So it is said in the Bhagavatam, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayatyashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yat Ahaitukam. So it says, Vasudevasya, devotion towards Vasudeva, it generates jnana and vairagya. That is the thing. So here it shows that bhakti is not separate from jnana, vairagya. They all are just, they come one after another, or they are all non-different. And yoga also is there. So it is said in the Bhagavata that Kirtayan Tirtha Yashasam Punya Shloka Yashaskaram Dhyaye Devam Samagrangam Yavanna Chavate Manah. Dhyayan Devam. You should meditate on God. Till when? Till the mind does not move. Mind becomes fixed. Yavan na chavate mana. So keep on meditating till the mind becomes completely fixed on God. That is the aim. So all these things are there. And then it is also said, Sarva Bhuteshu Ya Pashye. This is, now this verse describes the culmination of Advaita experience, the final experience. Sarva Bhuteshu Ya Pashyet Bhagavat Bhavam Atmanah Bhutani Bhagavatyatmani Esha Bhagavatottama. He is the Bhagavata Uttama, means he is the supreme devotee. Who? He who sees all beings in God and God in all beings. So all these things have been said, many more, but naturally to understand our point, this is sufficient. But now, to understand the all-inclusiveness of the Bhagavatam, we should go deep into the first verse. What does the first verse say? So it is very important, and we can also chant it, but the Sanskrit is difficult. So this is the first verse. So it is difficult, so you can repeat after me, and then we will break up the sandhi and see. So, Janmadyasya yata Anvayaditarata Cha Artheshu Abhigya Swarat Tene Brahma Rida Ya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Yat Surayah Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. And this is the most important. Satyam Param Dhimahi. So, Satyam, supreme truth. Param means supreme. Dhimahi. Let us meditate on the supreme truth. And all the rest, the whole verse, is just describing the nature of the supreme truth. Without knowing the nature, what will you understand? So, just see this, the Sanskrit language you see, it took us just maybe half a minute to chant the words. But to explain it, yes, that is the beauty of that language. So, Satyam Param Dhimahi. Let us meditate on the supreme truth. Now, what is that like? From whom everything is born, in whom everything stays, and whom everything is absorbed. Janmadi asya ata. Janmadi yasya. That is one phrase means all this. Janmadyasya yata. He is the source, the sustainer, and the silent witness behind all this, cause and effect. Anvayad itaratascha. Then he knows all. Artheshu abhigyaha. He is the supreme knower. And he is the sovereign, Swarat. He depends on nobody. Everything depends on him. And it is he who first revealed the divine knowledge into the heart of the original sage, Adi Kavi. That can be said to be Brahma. So when God gave knowledge to Brahma of the Vedas, then Brahma could create the universe. Then Rida, he gave the knowledge. Rida means not through speech, but through inner illumination. Even the greatest minds, Surayah, are bewildered by his mystery, Muyanti. They also cannot fathom God's mystery, God's excellence. And Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimaya. Just as fire, water, earth appear to mix, yet remain distinct in essence, so too this world of creation, threefold creation, maybe sattva, rajas, tama, like that, trisarga. So this world of creation looks real, amrisha, but it is ultimately unreal. Mrisha means unreal. So this world appears to be amrisha, real, but actually it is not. Yet in his own radiant abode, Dhamna Svena, all illusion is dispelled. Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. Kuhakam means haze, false. So, if you say everybody is deluded, then that delusion exists in God's Vaikuntha also? No. In his radiant abode, there is no delusion. Those who go there become free from delusion. There only one thing is there. What? Truth. Satyam, Param. Therefore, let us now meditate upon that one truth. This is the first verse. So this is the thing to note here. Bhagavatam begins with the invocation Satyam Param Dhimahi. We contemplate upon the supreme truth. We means who? The speaker, the listener, teacher, student, both, all, everybody. So the purpose of the Bhagavata is not to attain a particular state or condition. Rather, the Bhagavata gives a vision, drishti, a way of seeing. What is that vision like? It is such that after attaining the vision, one can live in perfect harmony and joy. Either if one is meditating on God or if one is doing the activities, daily activities. That is the thing. So it offers that knowledge which is equally beneficial in our worldly activities or what is called the Paramartha, the highest spiritual pursuit. So in the opening, it does not say Vishnum Param Dhimahi, Shambhu Param Dhimahi, Shaktim Param Dhimahi. No, it is not limited to any sect. It does not invoke separate deities, Vishnu, Shiva, Surya, Ganesha. No. It begins with Satyam Param Dhimahi. We meditate on the supreme truth. So, this is the function. And the function of the scriptures also, we should know. It is to give us a vision, a way of seeing reality. And the Bhagavata offers such a vision that is useful and transformative in every state of life. So, this is a devotional scripture because it stresses on devotion. There is no denying that. So, the devotional scriptures, what do they give? They give us a divine perspective. As we read in the verse before, who is the greatest devotee? They give us this vision that what? Everything is a manifestation of God. The scriptures declare everything is the Supreme Self. When we don't see God, when we see other things, we should know it is an illusion which has caught hold of us. Mistaken notion of difference, which is called Bheda Bhranti. Because of this, we feel attached to somebody, we feel repulsed by somebody. That is due to illusion. When this illusion of difference is removed, whatever the situation may be, that person will abide in God. That is the thing. This is what the scriptures tell. So it is from this very vision that Srimad Bhagavatam begins in this way. And the point to note is, in the last verse of the Bhagavatam, it also concludes with the same instruction. What is the last verse? Tat Shuddham Vimalam Vishokam Amritam Satyam Param Dhimai. Yeah. Vishuddha, purity itself. Vimala also means more or less the same thing. Vishokam, there is no shoka there, no sorrow. Amritam, that which is immortal, that supreme truth. Param is added. If you say Satyam, then those who believe that Shiva is the truth, they will say Shiva. It means Shiva. Those who say Shakti will say only Shakti. Because such people are also there. They think there is a story of Ghanta Karna.
Yeah.
So we will leave that for later. So such people are also there. So just to remove any such chance of anybody objecting, Param Satyam Dhimai. This means the Bhagavatam does not advocate a truth limited to any particular sect or cult or tradition. Bhagavata was revealed to proclaim the universal, eternal, all-inclusive truth, valid for all people, at all times, in all lands. So that religion which is meant for the welfare of all beings, that is called therefore the Bhagavata Dharma. Bhagavata Dharma is all for all humankind. So this is the path that secures welfare of all. And since the Bhagavata Dharma is meant for the good of all, there cannot be any distinction of nation or race. Asia, Africa, Europe, America, nothing. It is a universal religion. That Dharma is Bhagavata Dharma that promotes the well-being of the entire human race. This is the thing. So from the standpoint of the Bhagavata, true religion does not consist in declaring this thing is dharma, that thing is adharma. No. That kind of categorization is not the method of Bhagavata Dharma. Why? Because when we say this is good, this is bad, it is subjective. One person will say this is good. I will say the same person is bad. So they arise from sensory perception of individual human beings. And naturally that perception is governed by the sanskaras, each man's mind. But these perceived qualities are empirical and their appearances only. Our senses and mental conditioning, they determine what we will like, what we will not like. Hence the real nature of good and evil cannot be established just by our likes and dislikes. So, guna dosha vichara na dharma adharma nirnayaka. I may say something is good, so another person may say something is bad. That cannot be what decides what is dharma adharma. Then what is the criterion for telling us what is dharma and adharma? The criterion is the divine injunctions and prohibitions of the scripture. The scriptures, if they say something is adharma, it is adharma. We may not like it. Does not matter. So, vidhi or nisheth, that is called ordinance, means it is an injunction, and it is a nisheth means not to do something. So we have to go there to decide what is dharma and adharma. Therefore, what the Shastras enjoin as conducive to the realization of that supreme reality, that alone is dharma. What it prohibits, what it says that it is obstructing the truth, that alone is adharma. Sensory perception, emotion-based judgment which we all do, that has no meaning. So only what is called Shastra Pramana, what the truth which is grounded in divine revelation, the Vedas, is authoritative. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam is not just a book of ethical prescriptions. It is a scripture of truth realization. That is the final aim. Satyam Param, to realize that. It is filled everywhere with this idea. Satyam Param Dhimai. So Bhagavatam may speak of time, place, circumstances, that time that was the king, that time he did this, but actually it transcends them all. Because the truth transcends the whole universe. So even when the Bhagavata says everywhere, Sarvatra, it itself transcends that Sarvatra. Because it speaks of the truth which is beyond space, beyond time, which is eternal. That supreme truth is not conditioned by anything. It is eternal, universal, and all-pervading. Satyam Param Dhimai. So in conclusion, it concerns the vision. Bhagavata concerns the vision, the darshana, supreme vision. Where what happens then? Where all distinctions, good and bad, sacred and profane, dissolve. What remains? That one reality. Eka Tattva, present in all beings. So when the sense of difference between all things is removed, the one substratum of the whole universe is perceived. That truth is meant by Satyam Param, Param Satyam. And we should meditate on that, because to attain that is the goal of human life. So we will end by two verses. First is how describes the greatness of the Bhagavatam, and the second one describes the infinite mercy of compassion of God. Second one you may know, but first one I will just recite and then translate. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shuka mukhad amrita drava sanyutam pivata bhagavatam rasam alayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. So this, as I said, Sanskrit of Bhagavata is a little difficult. So what does this mean? That, it is addressed to whom? It is addressed to those who are appreciative. Those who don't appreciate at all, for them everything is the same. But for those who are appreciative of what? Of the essence of bliss. To them it is addressed. So, O you people, this Srimad Bhagavatam is the fully ripened fruit of the Vedic tree. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. And what happened? When this phala came into contact with Sri Shukadeva. So here Shukadeva is told as the divine parrot. Shuka Mukhad. So why? Because the explanation is there in Gita Press's translation, because it has been heard that the fruit which is eaten by a parrot becomes sweeter. So I don't know, but it is said, so there must be some truth in that. So that's why Shukadeva is compared to parrot. Because why? Because already this truth is so divine, so blissful. And then when it comes into contact with Shukadeva, that bliss is increased. And what type of fruit is there? Like in avocado and all, we have to discard that big seed. But it is not like any other fruit. There is nothing which is to be discarded here. Pure divine essence. Therefore, what you should do? Pivata Bhagavatam Rasam. Therefore, as long as life and consciousness remain in your body, go on relishing this divine nectar again and again. Till you are alive. Till you are alive, always remain in divine bliss through this Bhagavata. And the last verse, which shows the infinite mercy of God, many of you may know, so you can repeat after me. Mukam karoti vachalam,
Mukam karoti vachalam,
pangu langayate girim,
Pangu langayate girim,
yat kripavantamaham vande,
Yat kripatam vande,
Paramananda Madhavam.
Paramananda madhavam,
Mukam, dumb, karoti vachalam. The dumb people become eloquent. And Pangum, one who is disabled, he also succeeds in crossing over Girim, mountain. So I bow down to Madhava, the personification of supreme bliss, by whose grace the dumb become eloquent and even the lame cross over mountains. So with this wonderful verse, let us end today's discussion.